Welcome to the AI Hustle Podcast, the podcast where we break down the latest in AI news, tools, and interview experts helping you hustle and do more using AI. If you've been following the podcast for a while, you'll know that over the last 6 months, I've been working on a stealth AI startup. Of the hundreds of projects I've covered, this is the one that I believe has the greatest potential. So today I'm excited to announce AIBox. AIBox is a no-code AI app building platform paired with the App Store for AI that lets you monetize your AI tools. The platform lets you build apps by linking together AI models like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and 11 Labs. Eventually will integrate with software like Gmail, Trello, and Salesforce, so you can use AI to automate every function in your organization. To get notified when we launch and be one of the first to build on the platform, you can join the waitlist at aibox.ai. The link is in the show notes. We are currently raising a seed round of funding. If you're an investor that is focused on disruptive tech, I'd love to tell you more about the platform. You can reach out to me at jaden@aibox.ai. I'll leave that email in the show notes. Today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about how ChatGPT, OpenAI, AI in general is going to disrupt the healthcare industry. So this is obviously, I recently put out a poll on LinkedIn and asked people, what is the area you are the most excited for that, you see ChatGPT, AI going to disrupt? And the number one place that people were excited for was healthcare. So we're going to talk about that on the podcast today. If you want to be part of these polls I do, make sure to follow me on Twitter and go add me on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to see the polls and help us get more data for what is exciting and happening in AI. So I think right off the bat, one of the most powerful ways that ChatGPT is going to be affecting the medical field is specifically with medical diagnosis. I think it's going to be one of the most significant areas, and that's because the model's been trained on a really vast amount of medical data. And even right now, when we don't even have GPT-4 out yet, it can still fairly accurately, I guess to some degree of accuracy, diagnose a range of different diseases and conditions. So if someone says, there is a white male who's between the ages of 30 and 35 experiencing these symptoms with this background and these, medications, like it can give you a good idea of what it might be. Now, of course, I'm not saying, go use ChatGPT to diagnose yourself for everything and take that at face value. Similar to, I would say, you wouldn't want to go and just take everything that WebMD tells you at face value either, right? Obviously, this can be a tool for helping you get an idea of what a problem might be, and you would take that to a licensed medical professional to, really get the diagnosis. But I think this is going to be a really powerful tool for helping people get an idea of what some of their issues might be, as well as I think that doctors will be able to use tools like this to quickly get a good idea. And I've seen this happen in similar areas in AI with x-rays, where essentially they'll take like an x-ray of your lung, they'll send it to an AI that's been trained on lung x-rays, and then the lung x-ray will, the AI will circle areas that might be of concern, and the doctor will go and look over the whole x-ray, but make sure to definitely look at those areas of concern. And you see the same thing with dental as well. Dental x-rays, and it's able to, circle an area that it's like, make sure to double check this area for a cavity or whatever. So I think this is going to be a really popular tool, and I also think this is going to get a lot more powerful. We've seen Stanford do PubMed GPT, where essentially they trained a model on all of the publicly available public journals, and they made something that was really powerful for diagnosing. And they said that if you wanted to make this even more powerful and impactful, you would train models on very specific areas. So like a model just for heart disease, or a model just for different types of cancers. And I think that as we kind of build out those kind of really hyper-focused things where the model's really fine-tuned, this is going to get really powerful. And perhaps ChatGPT or others will integrate those right into their models as well. And I think another area, patient communication. So I think ChatGPT can make a pretty significant impact there. Patients often have questions about their health, treatment options, and like medication, all that kind of stuff. So traditionally, your healthcare provider, has been responsible for answering these questions, and it can be pretty time consuming. And I think it ultimately can kind of distract from other important tasks that they might have. So I think by kind of merging ChatGPT, patients can ask and receive questions, in real time without really the need for a healthcare provider to be present to answer some of those smaller questions. And, if it's a question that the GPT flag says, oh, this is super important, or if the person says it's super important about something very specific, you can just shoot it over to the actual healthcare provider. So I think that'll be another area. Another area is electronic medical records. So I think ChatGPT is actually going to automate the process of managing electronic medical records, or ERMs is what they're called. But they're critical really for providing high quality patient care. And they also can be really time consuming to manage for healthcare professionals. So I think healthcare providers, they got to enter in all this data into their their EMR system. They got to do that all manually, and that takes up a lot of valuable time. And so I think by using a tool like ChatGPT to automate a lot of that process, it can analyze data, it can extract relevant information. And I think if, a patient has a history of heart disease, ChatGPT can analyze their medical records and kind of make like a note for the healthcare provider if there's a potential risk or whatnot. And of course, I'm not saying this is going to completely replace doctors and, now all of a sudden we don't have any more doctors. We just got ChatGPT being our medical provider. I think this is just a tool that is going to make some big disruptions. It's going to save healthcare providers a ton of time and be able to really just streamline the process and make sure that our doctors now have time to do what's really important and work on really important cases. I think one other area that people are talking a lot about with AI is pharmaceuticals. I think that pharmaceuticals is another area where specifically ChatGPT is going to make a pretty significant impact. Essentially, ChatGPT can be trained, or any GPT model can be trained to analyze the chemical composition of drugs and to predict their efficacy, which is pretty crazy, right? You're just giving it so much data. And this is going to really help pharmaceutical companies develop more effective treatments and streamline the drug development process. Now, am I saying today in its current phase, can ChatGPT discover new drugs and compounds and predict their efficacy? I'm not saying that, but people are talking about it. Big pharmaceutical companies are using similar models and then using, these transformer models and other AI models to help them create some of these tools. So I think it's going to be a really powerful tool in the future. I think, just as we're kind of looking at all of this, definitely people have concerns when it comes to integrating ChatGPT into their healthcare. I think that there's ethical concerns surrounding it. Obviously, if AI is doing it, who's liable for different things? And so I think to, address all the concerns, it's just essential that a healthcare provider and technology companies are just working really closely together on these things. And I think that this includes making sure that there's always a healthcare provider reviewing everything that is done. So while this might be able to streamline the process and make it faster, this is all manually reviewed by experts. So I think the healthcare industry is poised for a very significant disruption due to artificial intelligence, machine learning. ChatGPT is just one example of how this technology is going to automate tasks and I think ultimately improve patient outcomes. So they're going to be doing medical diagnosis, patient communication, and I think it's really going to revolutionize a lot of the healthcare industry. So this is going to be an exciting area to keep an eye on in the future. If you are looking for an innovative and creative community of people using ChatGPT, you need to join our ChatGPT creators community. I'll drop a link in the description to this podcast. We'd love to see you there, where we share tips and tricks of what is working in ChatGPT. It's a lot easier than a podcast, as you can see screenshots, you can share and comment on things that are currently working. So if this sounds interesting to you, check out the link in the comment. We'd love to have you in the community. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Hustle podcast. If you could do us a massive favor, we would really, really appreciate it if you could leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. This helps people find the podcast. It helps people know this is a good place to go. And we would really, really appreciate it, as it helps us continue to bring on incredible guests and share incredible content for you to listen to.